sun was symbolic. It was the energy source. But they knew that what was behind it symbolically was the creative force of the universe. So that's why, like in general, people like to have symbols. For the Inca, they used the sun symbol as being the creator, but it wasn't the sun that was the creator. It was that which created the sun itself. The sun being symbolic of the creative force of the universe. And the moon, like in almost any culture, is symbolic of the feminine, the divine feminine. So there are many Inca legends where the sun and the moon are in courtship. And they play this dance as they move around the world. Sometimes they're close together, sometimes they're separate. And that's where you get the idea of, some people say that gold is the sweat of the sun, but others say it's the tears of the sun. Because it's the tears of the sun when he is separate from the moon, and separate also when he has to move farther away, when he's separate from the earth, because the earth is where his children are. Said, we are the children of the sun. They were referring to the sun itself. We are the children of creation. But we are direct children of creation. And that's why we have come with special abilities in order to educate on behalf of the Creator, all of the other people. That's why, in general, again, they weren't this warfaring people. Okay, so following down this single trail, and then we have the options to branch off here, and that takes us straight down to the Temple of the Sun. So obviously, that being one of the 3 megalithic sites, the other one being the Intihuatana over here. So this is probably the ancient road, or the ancient trail. So the same path brings us in here. This is the real megalithic area of Machu Picchu. This stone, which is for the solstices, but it's the scale of the stuff, which is amazing. So on this same trail, you see, at the base of the Intihuatana, you see these monstrous blocks here. In this area where obviously there was an earthquake, and this wall sank down that way. Now, photographs from 100 years ago show that it looks exactly like this. So this is probably something that the Inca found, but the technology that would be involved in order to try to prop all this back up would be beyond a lot of cultures, so they just had to leave it be. And then the acoustic room is in here, which is really neat. So this is the wildest stone in all of the Inca world. The 12-sided stone's nothing compared to this. See how it goes up like this, comes across, it goes up like this, comes around this way, and then it drops down here.
So basically,
comes around here. This is still the same stone. Comes down like this, drops down there, drops down here, comes back up again, and then finally comes down through that way. With this, this little one put into place and fitting into here. This is what they call the acoustic room. It's probably This is probably the place of preparation for those who went up to use the hitching post of the sun, the Intihuatana. This was probably a room of meditation because of the acoustics that are inside of it. People go into an alternate state, and that prepares them to go up to the Intihuatana, which was much more than just a thing for measuring the sun. It's something far more profound. So following along the same pathway up from that acoustic room takes us to the hitching post. So here we are at one of the high points, physically and spiritually, and in terms of just look. Here on Machu Picchu, behind is Huayna Picchu. 2,000 stairs from where those two huts are lead you all the way to the top. There's a large building on top of that, as well as enough Andean terraces to make a small population self-sufficient forever. They could have lived up there forever without having to come down. So some people say that that was a military point. I don't believe so. Others say that that was the place where the high priest would go for extended periods of meditation. What is behind Dave the cameraman is probably the ultimate thing to be seen, and that is the Intihuatana, which they call the hitching post of the sun. And a lot of people come here and they put their hands close to it and they draw energy from it. But what they don't understand is that when you take, you also give back. So the Intihuatana is actually the top of the mountain. It's not a piece of stone. This is the peak of the mountain. So whoever it was who shaped this did it for far more than the purpose of being something to test for the solstices and equinoxes. Because all they would have to do is pile a bunch of stones and have one strategically in one place in order to do that. For some reason, the original builders, who were not the Inca, built this incredibly complicated series of angles and contours. One really simple thing to see is if you look at the edge, each one of these corners will point to a mountain. And each one is almost exactly one of the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west. So as far as I know, no one has been able to decode what this, in totality, what this does. A solstice and equinox indicator, sure. But why, for example, is there this lump sticking out of the side of it like that? Does it have to do with the way that shadows are cast on specific days? That the shadow lines up somewhere? No one seems to really know. But it's an enigma, and far more profound than any simple explanation of that it's a calendar.
Entonces de ahí se dirigían acá a coger el agua.
A limpiarse.
Así es.
Yep. Right there.
Carving in the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And then it's just odd that they put this at an angle to sort of make it look like a V, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Maybe to support this in case they thought that it was, I don't know. Then they went back in there, and then you got this different style because you get these little square blocks.
Yeah.
That's a different time frame, I would think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, you've got this kind of rock formation. Then you've got these are the square blocks.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look anything like this piece.
Well, they say this was the royal tomb. Now they've changed their mind. Now it's not the royal tomb, but it's like what one of you said. If you have the Temple of the Sun is above, and there's a stone inside that this wall is protecting. There's also a cut in it, which is perfect for solstices, but there are also other cuts in it too, which God knows what they are. But to be right underneath it, the sun being the symbol, the Inca symbol, it's like what one of you said, this is probably the Holy of Holies. This is probably the, part of the spiritual center of Machu Picchu.
You got some other thing over there.
Yeah, that's another Chincana shape, the 3 steps going up. But I have snuck in here before, but today's not going to be the day. Okay. Finally takes us down through to the Temple of the Condor.
Aquella roca es in situ, parte de la montaña.
And that unites all 3 of them. And that concludes more or less the route of megalithic Machu Picchu. They were very diplomatic, and warfare was only used as a last resort. But that's something which in popular depictions of the Inca, they always show the Inca with an axe or something. It's symbolic, it's not. But he was the great warrior. He was the great caretaker of the people, just as the sun is the caretaker of the earth. Those sent by the creator, that they were the first great civilization. They were the ones who were the megalithic builders. And then they disappeared, probably again because of some huge catastrophe that happened. And maybe that's again why you have the original builders, and then you have the beautiful other work, and then the